Damn, we switch pod. The boys are back. How are you, Chris?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ah, good as no. I'm bright. I'm bright this week. We've got the vibe going on. So
Yeah,
yes, sir.
my one question is where are the brooms? Where are the brooms? Because it was a clean sweep.
The brooms and the dustpans. Look, after a bit of a hiatus of URC, South Africa just yeah, our teams just came through
Yeah, the
and
Dan
they
Carters of
handled
podcasting.
business.
We're here
Hmm.
to break all of that down. I think
Yes,
where
sir.
we should rightfully start is with your boys, the Sharks. And I had the feeling. I had the feeling that leading up to this, it was their week, and it turns out
Yeah,
it was their week.
yeah. Yeah. No, you called it. You called it that you know what, it's their time, that I mean, it was in their house, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, the platform was set, and I mean, it's not like they played terribly against the Lions. I didn't think they played terribly or anything like that. And looking at the team, Etzebeth was back. They've retained Masuku
yeah,
at 10. It looks like
yeah.
he's the man that they're backing now. Cohen Bosch looked like he was on his way to France, but that move looked
Hey,
like it's a U-turn. But I still
hey.
think he'll be finding a new home. And Ethan Hooker started in the midfield, and he's one of those
Mm,
guys under 20. I think he was captain, big raps from
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You don't see that translate as often as we'd like, but with him, it seems like it has.
Yeah, it certainly has. I think he had a very, very good game.
Yeah.
Impact his work rate, especially, chasing back that, that his effort level, and even that try that got the Sharks going,
Yeah.
that was his effort,
Yeah.
and credit to even the guys that were backing him up, on that chase. But all around, shaky start, initially from the Sharks, just scrappy a bit, but it
Yeah,
started.
but I don't know how much of that is up to the Sharks and how much of that is up to refing. We've said many a times it's not a refereeing podcast, but the
But
interpretations,
hey,
especially at the
man,
breakdown, I felt like this
yeah,
this this game was all about the breakdown. And once the Sharks started retaining their ball, then they could
yes,
build phases, get to
yeah.
play. But when they couldn't, I feel like it was a bit of a free for all. The ref was sort of allowing anything, so anything was going for
Mm,
for for
mm.
a period of the time, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, true. But I think, as you quite rightly pointed out, once the Sharks started looking after their ball, and they started putting the phases together, and I think also it was just the aggression. I think the aggression on defense,
Yeah.
that set the tone as well, for them. It was a good battle all around. I think even at scrum time, they started getting into their own, and it's very rare that you see a scrum that's got Stephen Kitsoff in there that sort of
Yeah.
struggles. Even when he came off, then it became even more apparent. But
And when he
uh,
came off, that's when Koch and Ox came on. So
yeah,
one thing I will say, Mngunu, it was his 50th game. He
he
rose to
stepped
the
up.
occasion.
He stepped
He's
up.
he's
No,
been a suspect scrummager, and he was against an Irish international. And you've got
yeah,
Jacobs as well, who's just about come through the ranks and getting a few starts, you
yeah,
know, and he dealt with Kitsoff. And it's the same,
yeah.
like it was very surprising. I don't know if it's collectively as a unit, whether they have Etzebeth there and Mbonambi there that's shoring them up, or
Mm.
individually they've just stepped up their game, or it's a bit of both. I'm sure it's a bit of
I,
both.
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both. Collectively, I think they had more than enough time to have a hard look at themselves, and make a decision on how they want their season to go, and look, credit to them.
Yeah.
They got a vibe going. I'm referencing a certain TV program that played on the weekend. They got a vibe going. And look, you started to see it come together, and you're slowly starting to see it come together. The pieces are fitting in. I think, yes, up front, that's where it starts, and
Yeah.
And of course, it's big having their box back, and we can see the impact that they make. Let's not lie about that. Especially in the pack. Bonambi's looking better ever since he's come back from his injury.
Yeah.
He's looking better. It's a bit, we know what we get from him. And then the guys, Gebran Kobler as well. He's been holding it
Yeah,
down,
he's been playing. He's been playing. Even
he
Chituka. Chituka, this is probably the best I've seen Chituka play in a Sharks jersey
at the
besides the
Sharks.
yellow.
Yeah, look, the yellow, the referee has just wanted to send a message, I think, but
Yeah.
look, I think, yeah, one of his, definitely by far one of his better games, for the Sharks. Pepsi just continues, even wearing the number 6 jersey, he's still, I think, he's showing that work rate, that intensity, that fight in the tackle as well, and contesting on the ground. I think he's also growing, and look, he's been consistent, and consistently he's delivering. And then you look at 9, 10. I think they're starting to find a nice balance
Yeah,
as well.
Masuku's the playmaker.
He's the
He's
guy.
the OG playmaker in SA rugby right
He,
now. And
he's the
I
guy.
yeah, he's I'm happy with what he's done so far. He's
Yeah,
fit in just as well as anyone could in his position,
yeah.
coming in, and especially with the pressure being on. And at
Mm,
10, he's
mm.
taken his opportunity. So
Yeah,
I like what I see so far. Fassi also heavily involved. I liked how Fassi was looking. He just keeps on making meters in the tournament. Yeah, you
yeah,
guys, it's looking good. Although I will say for the game, those refereeing decisions, the one guy tapped the ball out of the ruck, ref completely missed that. Looked
yeah.
like he held up the scrum, completely missed that. Cater scored with his stomach, complete. Like, I don't know if they saw that, but they were like, I guess it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Look, if we're being honest, the refereeing is like, I think all around this weekend, especially when with the South African teams, hasn't been, it wasn't the best,
Yeah,
but credit to the Sharks and to the South African teams that are able to rise above that, and put the referee out of the equation and get the result, and I think especially for the Sharks, this is massive, because otherwise, losing one more game, especially at home, look,
yeah,
it wasn't going to be pretty for them, and everybody being involved, their backs, especially what I like is how their wingers, Mapimpi is just showing his class as well, showing, popping up everywhere, being a willing ball carrier, having that work rate, you're seeing that with Edwin Cater. I think so
yeah,
far, I think this past weekend was one of the better balanced Shark side that was put out there,
yeah,
and even the bench, when the guys came on,
yeah.
they
Raul
just carried
almost
on.
got a try there, so they pushed on
Yeah,
nicely.
they did, so it's looking better, so they just need to keep on building on this. That's just my take. But look, I'm just happy we got the win, so thanks, Plum. The other week I was saying, come on, Plum. So now I'm saying thanks, Plum. It was better. It was much better, honestly speaking. And yeah, like we mentioned Ethan Hooker. I think
Mm.
in that game, Nkunu, we mentioned him, he definitely stepped up, willing ball carrier. And you can see it's almost like they're looking to use the guys' individual strengths within the collective as well,
Yeah,
and like we said, let's let them, let's see how they build on. Let's see how they build on. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with that result from the Sharks, honestly speaking.
yeah. Let's move on. Move on to Stormers hosting Edinburgh. Malherbe was back. This game, to me, it was a defense versus attack drill. And
Yeah.
I know there were guys from Edinburgh that will maybe be involved next week that, coming back from Six Nations, but
Mhm.
Edinburgh were not good and the Stormers were very good. The
Yeah.
Stormers were having a go from early, from anywhere. They're going to stretch you one way, then Lubbock's always going to look for the cross kick in the opposite direction. How
Yes.
many times did they try and attempt that? You got
Yeah.
Edinburgh were kicking the ball far too long, so it wasn't being contested. Willems is just running it back. And then
Yeah,
what
he's running
happens
it
when he
back.
runs it back? When he runs it back, the defenders are backtracking. They're not attacking the guy with the ball. So now you got like, I'm sure those guys thought there must be extra players on the field because
Yeah.
the outside backs, they're just seeing someone run at them and there's like 3 guys on the outside.
Yeah, yeah, and look, you have to honestly speaking, if you have to appreciate and like how the Stormers play. They stick to their
Yeah.
guns, and they know the weapons that they have, and they really want to make use of of those weapons. And regardless, what I like about them is they getting to the point of you take out Lebok, it goes off for blood replacement.
Yeah.
What's the guy's
Mattia came
name?
on, yeah.
Mattia came on, yes. They didn't miss a beat. That attacking intent was there. But what sticks out for me is just that work rate of that Stormers pack and the ability
Yes.
also of their pack, the forwards to move the ball. Their understanding
Yeah.
of space in terms of how they want to play is something that you really have to appreciate about the Stormers. And that's why, look, they were all over Edinburgh. But the only thing again with the Stormers, and it's something that you've always pointed out, is they play, then they sort of cool off a little bit, and then when
Yeah.
it looks like the
The
other team's
danger's
trying to
on.
get back into it, then they switch back on and they set the record straight. But yeah, man, I think they missed out on a lot of points as well.
Yeah.
They left some points out there. But you have to be happy for a guy like Similani. I think he's starting to look happy now because he's with the Owens there. They're bowling nicely. I think it
Even
suits
10
him.
Du Plessis is running lines like this. It was a
Yeah.
clinic. It was a clinic in center play, watching both of
Um,
them play. Dan was running those lines and he was just feeding off of it.
Yeah, so it's an interesting combination that's developing there, and again, a guy like Namakaba coming in, geez, I've been saying that he's definitely one for the future because his ability at the breakdown I think, is unmatched. At the moment when you're looking at, within the URC and the South African teams, he's right up there. He's right up there. Yes, okay, he hasn't had many games,
And
but geez,
exactly what you said is the work rate of the forwards. You've got Dixon there, you've got Van Heerden
yeah,
there, and
yeah,
then they've got Nama there. So it's and like you can't, then Murat as well also likes to get stuck in.
yeah.
So my thing is it's the whole forward pack is operating, and you don't even really mention Ruiz because Ruiz is more of like a link player, and he was linking perfectly. Yes, they did overplay at times. That's when they scored those 2 soft tries. But like you said, that's how they play. So they're gonna live and die
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. But geez, that's how they play. But if they cut out those soft moments, they cut out those soft moments as the season develops. They can put themselves in a good position.
There's always
To
gonna be those moments because they're risking it. They're playing that high risk
yeah,
rugby. But
high risk. But geez, man, you really have to. It's enjoyable watching them, especially at home.
yeah,
Especially at home. I don't know what it is there, but the Cape Town Stadium and the Stormers are playing there. It's just they're very difficult to beat there. Regardless of who's coming out there. But and again, you mentioned it. It's just that work rate. But what I like for me is the confidence,
yeah,
of that they have. They've got that license, they have the backing, they have the confidence, and they're delivering. Guys like you see the Zas now. He's just comfortable. He's delivering.
yeah,
He's got that physicality. They've got the play. They're able to play into space. The way they manipulate defenders as well.
yeah,
And they're always looking for that opportunity. Pull the vet. This guy is looking. Hey man, he's looking threatening. So,
yeah. He is.
but yeah, so yeah. Look, good for the Stormers, and look, so far after the sort of break that there was within the URC, these are good results.
Yeah. One thing I also want to add about that is how secure their ball was at the rucks. That again goes
Mm.
to the work rate, that go forward. Ruiz, I have to say, when it comes to bulk level, surely we can fit him somewhere because he's
Yeah,
he's he's looking like a bully. He's looking like that one in age group rugby. There's that
yeah,
there's that one kid that's just more physical than everyone else, and
yeah.
he
Even
Yeah, he's a
He's working
terrorist.
close quarters. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's terrorizing guys there, where and what it is that a lot of the focus now becomes on him, as a ball carrier, and he's able now to other guys now are able to be free. That's why you say Ben
yeah,
Jason Dixon he was looking good as well. Long range runs, man, the offloading as well, the interplay, and the decision making, especially on attack. They seem to make better decisions on attack to get that ball into space, and it's yeah, like I say, you have to love it.
yeah. Even with Ruiz, he lets the ball go when he should. His
Yeah,
decision making, he's not just being selfish with the ball. So, well, again, what more can you? It's almost like the Bulls. It's gonna be one of those things where it's like, what can you say when
what
when
can you
they're playing,
say?
they're playing. But
Yeah.
let's go to the Lions first. Lions against Connacht. Nohamba retained at
Ah,
9. Van Veek out, so they brought in Cronje, and you could see the signs were there from early. It's just like the Stormers, the Lions were having a go, from early in their
yeah,
own half, which they tended to do. And I'd say the biggest difference in this game, versus like the Bulls, Jake White's like Lions play from their own half. They pose no threat to us. We'll just suffocate them and build points from there. You're playing
yeah,
Connacht, who can't do that to them. So every time the Lions have it, it's on and they're having a go at it. And
yeah.
they were feeling dangerous. They were feeling dangerous on the
No,
day.
man, they're feeling dangerous, looking dangerous, and they were being dangerous, because
Yeah,
it just looked like every time when the Lions were in attack that, there's a line break coming, that, something was about to happen. And just the way that the game was being managed, now all of a sudden, Jordan Hendricks, he's more confident, he's flat, he's taking it to the line, he's
yeah.
juking there, he's getting his back line away. And well, what? We've said it to the Lions team, they look like they were building on something, that they've got something there. Look, this game was full
Yeah.
confirmation of that you have to take the Lions seriously. You take them you take them lightly at your own peril, and I think Connacht they learned that definitely, and it down to even 14 men,
But that's the
let's
thing. They were playing with that confidence. Then in Klabakanya gets the red. Again, reffing
tough one,
decisions. The guy was
tough one,
crouching in
tough one.
Klabakanya's. Okay, given that, what you do now is they're like, well, we might as well just go out and play. We might as well just
Yeah,
give it a go. We might as well just go out swinging, and that's what they did. They just turned it up
yeah,
another level and said, "We've got nothing to lose. We're one man down." And the fact is, this team
yeah,
have won with 14 before.
yeah.
They proved they could do it again. Again, in terms of coaching, they took Chituka off, which I don't know if I would have taken him off. JC Pretoria stayed on and was man of the match. So coaching
Yeah.
decisions again, I have to say, well done.
Yeah. Look, you have to give them credit, man. You have to give them credit. And this Lions team, and they've got something brewing there,
Yeah,
and that's and look, and that's what you love to see, and it justifies why some of the guys were called through to that alignment camp,
fully.
because there's something there,
Yeah.
there's something there, and I just want the Lions just to continue in this form, because a strong Lions, is good for South African rugby, because they're that one team that, just like the Stormers in terms of playing that exciting rugby, but because they don't have those blocks, it makes it even
Yeah.
better to watch, and look, do you take your head off all around this weekend? For me, this weekend, honestly, it belongs to the Lions, from a South African context. Just, yeah, just the way that they delivered there, like, man, what more do you say?
What Connacht were terrible. I won't lie. Connacht were terrible, but I mean you can only play the opposition that you're given there. You can only there's nothing you can do. You must just but Connacht once applying pressure, they they couldn't win a scrum versus 7 men. They couldn't
Mhm.
complete lineouts. They knock-ons, ill-disciplined at the breakdown. So Connacht were terrible. But that being said, you have to look at Conrad van Vieren came on at tight head. He's holding a scrum steady with 7 men. The Mazoe
Yeah.
Matfield came on.
Yeah.
Darian Landsberg, he came on.
Very Landsberg.
Technician at the line out.
Yes.
I think this was a statement game for him as well. commentator just kept on mentioning his name. Nohamba going back to 9, still performing. The
Yeah,
boys, JC Pretorius as well, looking like Quagga Smith. They've both got that sevens
yeah.
background. It's things are moving along nicely.
Yeah, and Horn,
Yeah, yeah,
that's Franco Horn, the eighth man, and then you also, when you look at the back line as well, the guy. I think they settled. I think they really settled in what they want to do, how they want to play, and they back each other. That's the thing that I like about
yeah.
this Lions side is the way that they back each other, and like I say, for me, they're the kings of the weekend for me,
Yeah. Yeah, I think the platform was the set piece. That's why I have to say the Mazoe Madfield there showed up the line
Yeah,
out, Van
yeah,
Vuuren, the scrums, even a man down, and it allowed them to play. And they were
yeah.
disciplined. In defense, they were good. So it's
Because
one
as
of
much
those
as Connacht
weeks.
were poor, because
Yeah,
as much as Connacht were poor, you must remember that it's because of the presence of the Lions that is,
yeah.
that resulted in that, because the Lions were applying that pressure in more than one way, So yeah, it's yes, yes.
Yeah, there was a disallowed try there that shouldn't have been disallowed. There was a red that was also a bit dubious, but still, they come out
They
on
rose
top.
above, they rose
Yeah.
above, away from home, even, you know what I mean? They shut that crowd up,
Yeah, I think first
very,
victory for an SA side down in Galway there. So
yeah.
the results. Thank you, Cash. Thank you, Cash.
Yeah,
Yeah, moving on to the Bulls, Dragons versus Bulls. Uh, Coming in Moody at 13. That was about the biggest news. And then I mean, it's just a well-balanced team, and we saw that Dragons tried. I will say their kicking game is quite good. They can pin you back, but
yeah,
beyond that, they didn't have anything beyond that kicking game, and they couldn't
yeah.
suffocate the Bulls once they got them like in their 22. And the Bulls are just experienced and good enough to get out. They also have a decent kicking game, so and the Bulls, it's the complete opposite from the Stormers, where they're taking 3 points like it's test match rugby, but
Yeah,
again, like test match rugby, they're gonna wear you down and wear you down and wear you down, and in the end, 81st minute bonus points.
yeah. And one would argue that they weren't playing their best. That they were almost, the
Yeah,
diesel engine was taking a bit long to get warm. We understand maybe it's
it
cold
looked
that
like the first
side.
game of the tour. It looked like the first game
Yeah,
of the tour. Yeah,
but and look, you expect them to, you expect that Bulls team to get the result against the Dragons.
yeah,
No, like, honestly speaking, we'd have been surprised if they didn't. But we're seeing there's a lot of guys that they're just growing from strength to strength. I think for me, I was thinking about it that Gumete is an undercover leafling there at Loftus, because, man, what the shift that he puts in, the work rate, you slot him anywhere 7, 8, he does the job
yeah.
for you within that pack. The loose forwards, Escom just keeps on delivering.
Escom, yeah,
And the way that, obviously, the Bulls are always going to be strong within the tight exchanges, close quarters, mauling. It's just that Bulls template. It just took them a bit long to get going, but
yeah.
once it did, it just was like, yeah, that's the Bulls.
Yeah,
There's just
it's exactly that. They're just well coached. The guys are experienced there, and once they get in those patterns of play, Vali LaRue, the distribution, the cross
yeah,
kicks, is also getting him into space. That double pivot with the fly off and fullback.
yeah.
Chris Smith also had a he had a good game. I think he had about three
He had a good game.
50-22s. Vessels, I've been a critic of Vessels.
Yeah,
He played well. He
but
got
he's
his
growing.
lineouts. Yeah.
Strength to strength, strength to strength. This year, I think,
Surprisingly, yeah, surprisingly, it was Probler that came on that his lineouts were a bit suspect. So I have to say,
mm,
well done to Vessels.
yeah, I think he's growing strength to strength. And again, the Bulls, they've got that group. They've got that group all around where putting anybody there, they can do the job. I liked seeing Moody at 13.
Yeah,
I hope to
they were
see a bit
signs.
more of, you know. there's some good signs there, you know, some good signs of potential future developments, you know, we'll keep our eyes on that, you know, but all in all, after, like I said, you know, after the hiatus, you know, from URC for our teams to come back, you know, and get the wins, you know, especially I think the away wins were more special, you know, especially
Yeah.
the Lions. So yeah, man, you know, it's good. It's good for SA Rugby, you know. Then you top it up with chasing the sun, you know, it's like, yo, okay, you know what? This is why
Yeah,
our rugby's.
you'll have to be a correspondent on Chasing the Sun. I didn't catch it. Even myself, I have to say, I'm not a big proponent of the series. Sometimes I feel like maybe we shouldn't get that inside look. We shouldn't get that what's behind closed
Shouldn't
doors.
get,
Maybe
yeah,
we
shouldn't
should
get that
stay behind
close.
closed doors. But
Yeah,
I don't I don't know. I'll catch a few episodes, but you'll have to be a correspondent this week.
yeah, yeah. Look, you know what? All I'm gonna say is you know what? I think for all South Africans that got to watch it this weekend, you know, we're reliving that the World Cup. The goosebumps were definitely there. You know, the emotions there. It's almost like you watching you for the first time. You know, you
Mm,
watching the game again. You know, but just to see the little intricacies, you can see that, geez, you know, you can understand why those 1 point wins, you know, and this is only the first episode, and you can start to see, you know, how it sort of took shape, you know. But look, I think there's still more episodes, you know, we can't really speak as much as yet, but all we can say is that, you know, we gotta get that vibe going, you know. That's the big thing that I took off from it, is that, you know, they had that vibe, and that's
yeah.
what got them through, you know. So yeah, man, you know, yeah, you just hope that that vibe can rub off on the URC teams, you know, that they continue this coming weekend, you know, because as much as it was good, they got to back it up. You know, everybody's got to back it up now this weekend. That's the nice thing about it, you know, is
Yeah.
we get some more weekends.
Yeah, and the test window still approaching. Guys are going to be wanting to be included.
It's getting
So,
closer.
talks of new captains. So,
It's getting closer.
further developments there.
Hey, look, if there's a new captain, look, we'll understand, you know. I mean, the baton has to be passed on, I guess, at the end of the day, especially if your captain is not local, you know, it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that develops. But, you know, we're still a little bit far from there. But at the same time, it's at the back of the minds, because, you know, there's a lot of talk about who the best team in the world is, which, you know, I thought the World Cup was the determining factor. But for some, it seems, you know, conveniently, no, that doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, we all know what it is, you know, and that's why our teams can, you know, come back from break and just, you know, do a clean sweep in the URC, and that's why the URC is the best competition in the club competition in the world, I say.
Yeah, and I think that's it from us. All I'll say from my side is, guys, have just keep the brooms on standby again. Just keep the
Yeah,
brooms on standby.
yeah. This time with the vacuums as well, because we gotta take it all. You know, take it all. We need those bonus points going. You know, because we're getting close to
Yeah, the
championship rounds.
business
You
end.
know,
Yeah,
so the business end of the competition. You know, so starting to take shape. Lions are right up there. Bulls, Stormers. You know, the Sharks, at least, you know, they're climbing, but we know, but they're climbing. You know,
they're
so
building for
they
next
must
year. Don't worry.
they must continue to climb, you know, so they got to back it up. That's all I'm saying. Those are my final words, quarters. Back it up.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you.